You know, you said in June when Roe was overturned that you won't stop until safe, reliable access to abortion care is a guaranteed right again. And in some of these referenda that we've seen in ballot measures, we've seen that Americans seem to, when given the choice, will choose to codify abortion rights. And yet we're going farther down the other road. So if you thought that this was going to stop, it was going to be binary and Roe would be gone and then life would go on. We're seeing people, like I said, attempting to restrict abortion medication, medicated abortions, medication abortions, and contraceptives. This is not where some people thought this was going to go.
No, that's exactly right. You know, here we are on the verge of the 50th anniversary of Roe, which is no more. And I think a lot of people thought that when the Roe was overturned, stripping away 50 years of rights for people to be able to control their own bodies and make their own decisions about their health care, that would be the end of the road. But it really is the beginning of the road. And we could see that today in the marches that were happening in Washington, D.C., where people were talking about the next step being to have a national ban on abortion. And always in this conversation, we have to root ourselves in what this means for women who have lost in so many parts of the country the ability to control their own futures because they can't control their own bodies. And that, I think, is just uppermost on my mind. Having worked at Planned Parenthood, I remember clearly working and volunteering at Planned Parenthood on the big Roe protest days and watching the protesters out there with their ugly signs trying to stop women from going into our clinic to get the health care that they needed. And those protests are still happening, and women are not able to get the health care that they need. And that's wrong.
We saw pictures this week of the protests at pharmacies now because for medicated abortion, we saw that happen. Axios has a report that puts some numbers to this and make it quite stark. Women in states with abortion bans are nearly 3 times more likely to die during pregnancy, childbirth, or soon after giving birth, according to a report from the Gender Equity Policy Institute. Native American women's maternal mortality rates were 4 times higher than those of white women and black women's rates, and they were 2 times the rate of white women. The report also found that infants born in states with abortion bans were 30% more likely to die than those in supportive states. Now, if in a vacuum, one wouldn't know why that's the case. Why are these women more likely to die in states that have abortion bans? You haven't operated in a vacuum. You were involved in Planned Parenthood, so you know exactly what the relationship is between women not getting reproductive health care and dying.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's because reproductive health care is health care. And if you do not have access to it, then your health is in jeopardy. And we know that in this country, access to any kind of health care is not equal, that Black and brown women, Indigenous women don't have nearly the same access. And you see that play out when it comes to reproductive health care. You know, Allie, just a couple of days ago, I was hearing a story about a woman who was in an emergency situation in South Dakota, had a need for an emergency access to abortion. She was very sick. And what happens? She, rather than the hospital in South Dakota taking care of her emergency medical need, she is put in an ambulance and driven to Minnesota so that she can get the health care that is potentially saving her life. Now, for that woman, this isn't a political issue. This is a health issue. This is a life or death issue. And that is exactly how this impacts people's health care.
I've heard anecdotal fears.
Republicans and lawyers interfering in people's health care decisions.
I heard anecdotal fears from abortion providers in Alabama, where the attorney general has sort of said he's going to make an example out of somebody, of women who are delaying treatment. Something goes wrong in the pregnancy, and rather than getting that treatment as quickly as they can, they worry that they don't want to be the one. They don't want to be the one that the attorney general comes for. This is somebody trying to sort of illegally get an abortion.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it also has, of course, such deep impacts on the providers that see a need, know what to do, but then they have to consult a lawyer to find out whether that they're legally able to provide that health care. That is not the way we should be delivering health care in this country. And that is what has happened because of this rollback of 50 years of protections that is having an impact on people every single day in this country. And people don't like it, and they are mad about it.